Local business, email marketing, and increasing revenue is important for 2025. So this is going to be an SEO tactical room with digital marketing for local SEO businesses, whether small or big or medium. This is for you. Thank you for being here, and I'm excited that you're going to make some revenue after listening to this podcast episode. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm super elated that you're going to be doing a lot of great things. And using podcasting is going to be one of the greatest ways you can start, but also with email marketing and increasing revenue using local business tactics is what I'm going to be talking about today. So welcome to Lockball, welcome to Room, Miss LA, Joanne, Shine, Ninja, Justice, Carmen. You're all welcome to the room. I'm excited that you are here today. For those who are listening to me for the first time, my name is Favor Obasi-Ike, based in Houston, Texas, and I run a media and marketing agency called Work and Play Entertainment, and I'm also the host of the Top 0.5 podcast show called We Don't Play. We are top 30,000 out of 4.5 million shows, and as I'm speaking to you, happy August. We are now with Amazon, and we moved from Spotify. So that tells me a lot more about what I need to know about you and what you need to know about what you need to know about what you need on this platform, whether it's Clubhouse, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Google, whether it's AI, whether it's SEO, whether it's Pinterest, whether it's podcasts, whether it's what you're interested in, this is a place to be. And I've been helping a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and creators understand how to use email marketing better. And doing email marketing is one of the best things you can do for a business. I have a client, they are about to have a conference and they've partnered with a hotel and resort outside the country. And they have investors, sponsors, vendors, donator. Like, it's just amazing to see what's going on. And I sent out an email to their community, letting them know everything they need to know about the event, right? We're in the beginning of August. A lot of new things are happening. People are excited about the new month. I am, because this is a whole new month for me and for you too. And it's exciting to see how we're going to enjoy the experience by actually doing things that are going to help you grow. So if you're a local business, I'm sure you're listening to this because you're wondering, why am I not getting leads? Why am I not getting sales? Why am I not getting qualified leads? Why am I not getting retentive sales? Why am I not getting increased sales? Why am I not making as much as I should with my email marketing? There are a lot of things to consider, and I want to break it down today because once you're able to understand how this works for yourself, for your business, it's going to take the tenacity of you being consistent in getting results that's going to help you understand how to get out of the goo. Because creating content is one thing, but maintaining content and sustaining it whereby it's actually valuable is another thing. When I send out emails, these emails are sent out with so much love, with so much thought, and with so much care that when people respond back, and thank you for listening if you're listening to this, people normally respond back and they say that the emails that they get are so valuable that they also want to make sure that they're not missing out on anything because they take their time to go through each point. So when I bring episodes to you, it's because I know that you're going to listen to this at some point, especially because the title of the room or the title of the episode is what's drawing you to listen to this. And I can see it. Analytics is what I eat, breathe, and sleep. I can see analytics from Google Search Console to Microsoft Clarity to ChatGPT to Perplexity, wherever, to Pinterest, to podcasts. We can find exactly what is going on because we want to know how your business is thriving. Now, as a business, here are two things that you have to think about when it comes to email marketing and increasing revenue. Number one, the first thing to consider is look out for your search competitors. Your search competitors, your direct search competitors. Because when you look at direct search competitors and indirect search competitors, you're looking at two sets of people or two sets of segments. One segment means that if I'm getting emails from Fashion Nova every time, then it means that I could also be getting emails from Lululemon. I could also be getting emails from Macy's. I could also be getting emails from fill in the blank, Sephora, or whatever you want to, fill in the blank with. But at the end of the day, if you're getting the same email that other people are getting, that's the hydrogen water if you heard the beep. If you are creating content and you're going to be getting emails from these same correspondents, then it means that you're within that affinity, right? Whether it's beauty, makeup, industry, style, format, it's going to have to happen whereby you're part of that ecosystem. Because if you've purchased from them before, they're going to put you in their email system. If you've gone to their website before and you left your contact information, they're going to connect with you. This is a really good way to think about it. So as a business, your first step of action is to search for your direct competitors. Look around you. Who within 5 miles, if you have a brick and mortar store, right? Look within 1 to 5 miles around you and say, who else is doing what I'm doing? If I sell flowers, who else around me sells flowers? And how much are their flowers? Do people come to their flowers? Do I have bundles? Is it family oriented? Is it romantic? Is it family based? What are we selling and who are we selling to? Hey, Mimi, it's been a while. Glad to have you here. When you have a local business, your business is supposed to grow, whereby your business is supposed to take the lead when people are looking for information about what you provide as a service or as an actual product, whether it's physical or digital, right? When you have a local business, you're looking for your search competitors. If somebody is 5 miles ahead of you or 5 miles next to you or 5 miles away from you, then that means that person might have search traffic, foot traffic, online traffic as much as you, or maybe less than you or more than you. So for you to determine that, you also have to see how much traffic am I getting within 30 days. And then, of course, your business is dependent on your industry. If you sell fireworks, then just know July is going to be your year, December is going to be your month, or rather, whatever part of the year you have 2 cycles or 3 cycles, depending on what you're doing. You know that, okay, I'll make my most sales in July and in December because it's July 4th and it's Christmas. So that's because that's how your business operates. But if you know that you sell flowers, it could be flowers for Mother's Day, it could be flowers for Valentine's, it could be flowers for just because I love you, it's just flowers because I just want to show you I appreciate you. That is seasonal. That happens periodically. So every business is going to have its own thing. If you sell cakes, not everyone's going to eat cake in the winter. Some people like ice cream in the summer. So by the time you're creating content as a business owner with whatever you're doing, you're going to see email marketing as a great respondent to your marketing. Why? Because when you think about email marketing is where you're giving people insights, right? You're telling more people about you without showing them too much. You're telling them enough. How are you telling them enough? You're telling them enough because you're showing up as a name. When somebody gets your email, that's your name already. They're already reading your name before they read your email. So that's already revenue increasing, because the more you're able to show up, the more you're able to increase in revenue. I mean, if you show up to class every day, you're going to get an A because you kept showing up to class every day. That's the motion. That's the 1 and 2s. That's the P's and Q's. So when you're able to do the same thing for your business and you're showing up every day on Google, showing up every day on ChatGPT, showing up every day on Perplexity, showing up every day or every other day or every week in between the year on email, or showing up on a podcast, or showing up as a feature on a magazine, something, Pinterest, eventually the signals will start to register that you always keep showing up for the people that you keep writing for, or you keep showing up for. So that's how you're going to start creating more business, because your local business starts from within. So you need to go to a website. I talked about this before. Go to searchconsoleaudits.com, get your information, and get to see where you're ranking. How you will even know that you're showing up is if, and only if, you have connected your website to Search Console. If you haven't, it's not going to show you anything because you have no authority, data. I would say this again. Google Search Console is the internet service provider for Google. If you didn't know that, I'm going to say it again. Google Search Console is the internet service provider the ISP for Google. That means Google Search Console runs on google.com, because every other website that is on google.com has to go through Google Search Console. You get the drift? So if your website has to be on google.com, which means you're going to be on Google AI Overview, which means you're also going to be on Google Gemini, which means you're also going to be on Google Learn About. You see where I'm going? Google Analytics. It keeps getting better because you're connected to one source, and that source becomes a resource that's being duplicated across different resources. So if you have an email and you're sending out an email, that email is not just going to someone's inbox, it's triggering into the algorithm. So if you have an email that has DNS records that can point to the Google Search Console, that means your domain is going to have signal strength. That's why it goes to the inbox. And the only reason why you're going into the inbox is because you have content outside the email. If I click your email and that email takes me to your website, that's because your domain has content that I'm able to see. So if I send you an email with no link, that's great. You read it, that's about it. That's a pen pal. But if you're sending someone to a destination and it's not your website, then you're losing revenue. Why? Because you're not showing people who you are. Yeah, you can send them to Stripe, you can send them to PayPal, you can send them to Cash App, you can send them to wherever you desire. But at the end of the day, the goal is going to be, did they get to that page like that? Or did they have to go through a web page that was yours first? Because if I just send you a link to a Stripe to pay, you guys would be looking at me like, what is this guy thinking? What is he trying to say? Why is he sending me to Stripe? I don't even know what he's offering, because it's just a link. But to you, it's like, I'm not buying this. I didn't ask for this. I didn't sign up, because now it feels like it's repelling. But if I send you a link and say, do you need help with this? And you say, yes, I do. And then you tell me what type of help you need. Then you supply your information. You're able to now let me know what you need. Then I'm able to come back and say, okay, this is how I can help you. Then from there, you ask yourself, okay, do I need the help or not? Hey, Austin, what's up, Jeff? No carbs, glad to have you here. Julia, Joanne, Justice, Kadesh, and Carmen, just want to acknowledge you too. So it's up to you. It's to know, how do you want your business to grow? Do you want your business to grow vertically, horizontally, diagonally? It's really up to you, because at the end of the day, your business is going to grow based on how much you water it. You know, I heard a saying, and it's very true. It's greener on the other side where you water it, or where you water it is where it's greener on the other side. However you want to phrase it. At the end of the day, it's what you focus on that grows. So if you focus on your email list 24/7, if you focus on your list and you're sending them an email at least once a week, at least once a month, at least twice a month, that goes a long way than not saying anything at all. Because there are people who have not sent an email for the last 2-3 years. It's like saying, I'm not gone to the gym for the last 2-3 years. And it's very possible. 100% very possible. That is affirmative. Yes, it is actually something that can happen. And some people don't like to hear that, because that's the truth. But if you change the truth, then the truth will change. Because if you're changing the truth about what you're saying, oh yeah, I can't find subscribers, oh, I can't make any money from my email list, that's because you probably have their secondary email, or you have an email that's bouncing, or an email that's not subscribed, or an email that's not even accessible. So when you send someone an email, or you send someone, you say, hey, what is your first name and what is your best email? That's going to let you get the best response, because you're putting your best foot forward. Now, if you're looking for increased revenue, there's a person that is going to make a purchase, and they'll tell you, send it to this email, because that's the email they're going to purchase it from. If you send it to the wrong email, you might not get that purchase because you send it to the wrong address. It's like sending mailbox address, and you send a mail and the mail misses a number, because your number is supposed to be, your street is 100, but it was 010. Now, because of that 0 and 1 that has flipped, you get the wrong address, and it's not to you. So you lose the connection, and you can't open that mail either, because it's not yours. So it's like, how do you even move? You're literally stuck. But you can't be stuck forever, because you can see the potential if you give somebody their best address. And what I mean by this mailbox example is, if your name is Brian and your name is Jane, and then instead of putting an I, you put an E, and instead of A, you put an F, then that email is not going to go through, especially if you can't edit the email, because there's some platforms that you can't edit the person's email because it's what they opted in with. So if they miss that email, that's on them. But if you say email address, they'll be like, oh yeah, of course, I'll give you my email address for sure. But if you say best email, you've changed the psychology of the mind reader or the reader to think beyond just what they're reading as an email address and saying best email. Okay, I'll give you my best email because that's the best way you can contact me. Now, when you start thinking about businesses and relationships, now they say your network is your net worth. If your network had all typos in your phone book directory, then that network is not networking, because there are a lot of typos and a lot of grammatical errors and a lot of things that are not allowing your network to grow. Because if I call you and I have your number saved, but I miss a number, then, or I don't have the exact phone number, then I can't reach you. I may have your contact, but I don't really have the actual contact. So that's the same thing that goes to your website. When you have a URL, your URL is your phone number. That's how people are going to reach you. If you go to thisdomain.com, that's because that's the web address. That's the World Wide Web address. So if it's the World Wide Web address to your domain within a protocol, and it has a pathway with a /, then it should take you to a destination. So when you're thinking about email marketing, think about your search competitors. Think about your direct search competitors. Who are the people who are already sending emails like you, and find out how they're doing. I would say put your own email in their email address, or go to their emails and sign up and see what kinds of emails they're sending. This is pure marketing. This is easy marketing you can do. Just observe and see what they're talking about and see what you're not doing. And that way you're able to see how you can improve, or you can see what you're doing better than them and see what to capitalize on. Whatever it is as a business you're thinking about, that's really up to you. But as a local business, you need to think about having email marketing as a footprint. Why? If you have a brick and mortar store and you have a glass window, listen to this. If you have a glass window and somebody can walk past your store, and your store is walk through, meaning I can walk through this door, or I can walk into this door and I can come to you and actually buy from you or come and explore your store. If I were you and I had a brick and mortar store that had a glass window at the entrance, I would 24/7, 365. If you're listening to this, please take heed, take action if you want to do this, right? Here's the thing. If you have a brick and mortar store and you have a glass window, try and put a QR code on your glass window and let that QR code be scannable, that says scan me visibly, legibly, and the person that is walking through that is interested in your store, before they walk in, has scanned that code, because you're going to see two things that happen. One, if that link or that QR code leads them to your website or to an opt-in page where they can leave their information, you're getting foot traffic turning into leads. That's local business for you, right? That's the first thing you're getting. You're getting qualified leads. The second thing you're getting from that QR code scan is an IP address tracker, because somebody's going to now scan that code with their mobile phone, and on the back end of your screen or your analytics, however you set it up, will show you where these people are coming from. Are they coming from a city, from a state, from a metro? Where is it coming from? Then you're able to use that and now track back and say, okay, we had 20 visitors today, 2 walk-ins, 1 sale, but we had 10 signups. What does that mean? Okay, 10 people were interested, but they didn't know what to do next. Oh, you signed up, here's our product guide, welcome, join the club, or here's the community, learn about us, or here's our August magazine for the month, or whatever you want to give them. By the time you do that and it's inviting, you're not just saying scan me, you're telling them what they're getting when they scan it, scan and win or scan to reveal. Make it nice, brand it out, make it nice, make it creative, and then show them that your goal is to increase awareness. That revenue will come by itself. You know how it says when you don't focus on the money and you focus on the problem, the money will come because you're solving the problem first. That's what happens with email marketing. You're solving the problem first by showing up first. If you don't show up, they're not going to remember you. What's the saying? Out of sight, out of mind. Out of mind, out of sight. So if I'm not seeing you consistently, I'm like, is this person there? Is this person okay? Is this person active? And then you show up, hey, Black Friday, buy this now. They'll be like, huh? No, where have you been? We've been looking for you, but we didn't find you because you've not been available. But if you've been showing up consistently, not even selling, but telling them where to go, telling them what to do, telling them how to get this done, telling them why this is important. You're just telling them. You're not selling, you're telling them. Before you know it, someone's going to say, hey, what are you selling? What are you really trying to say? And can I ask you a more detailed question? Then that turns into inquiries. That turns into transactions. But there's no transaction that has happened without a conversation. Let me say this again differently. There's no conversion that has ever happened without a conversation first. If you say, hey, welcome, what are you looking for? That's a conversation. You don't just walk in and say, buy now. It doesn't even sound normal. You have to connect. Even relationships take time. You don't just say, hey, it's my number. That's creepy. You have to really know, okay, why are we even talking in the first place? Do we have anything to talk about? Are we even compatible to begin with? But when that starts happening, you're like, oh yeah, of course, we can talk, we can have a discussion, we can discuss a few things, and we can learn. Because when you start doing these kind of things, you're showing them that you're actually showing the importance of why they're there. Because if you're at a mall, if you're at an outlet, if you're at a plaza, if you're at an office, if you're at a venue, and you have a QR code and someone can scan it and it looks appeasing, it looks appealing, and it's not just a black and white QR code. You can use flowcode.com and make it nice and pretty and really brand it out. Use your colors and then stylish it out, or maybe put it in a way that is fit to your brand, and then let people see it. You'll realize that, maybe, just maybe, there's something here. And that's what starts to build up the momentum. So your goal is to show people that, hey, I'm a local business and I have an email list, and you can sign up today so that you don't miss out on information, that in case you're looking for socks or pillows or water or juice or coffee or cookies, whatever it is, you'll find it because you're looking for that place that's going to give you the best experience. And it starts from the door. Charity begins at home. You have only one impression to make a lasting impression. I don't know if you've heard that before, but that exists. It's somewhere in the ether, because you want to dress how you want to be addressed, right? So if you're sending out emails and these emails are not spammy, they're not too forward, where it's like all you're selling is products, it gets uncomfortable. That's when you get unsubscribes. That's really when unsubscribes begin. When you start selling, instead of telling, selling, and then telling. But most people do selling, then telling. So they flip it and they think they're going to keep make sales. Instead, they're going to get unsubscribes. That's what's going to happen. Or marked as spam, which is even worse. So to avoid that, the best thing to do as a local business is to use your website. I've already talked about getting your direct competitors, getting your indirect competitors, getting to know exactly what words they're ranking for and why they're ranking for those words. Because now with Google and all these AI tools, I was talking about this yesterday. And I remember, if you remember, I talked about how traditional search, which is Google, Bing, all these other platforms that we know of today, Yahoo, Yandex, all these traditional tools are all SEO, right? This is based as owned media, right? Because you're linking to a website, you're linking to a blog, you're linking to a page, you're linking to a domain, you're linking to a destination link, a URL, a uniform resource locator, right? It's taking you to an exact page. So if that page is an exact page, it's because you own that page, it's because you own that listing, or because you claim that listing, or because you earned that listing through owned media. Now, when you look at ChatGPT, Perplexity, Cloud, Meta AI, Grok, DeepSeek, all these LLM tools, it's no longer just owned media. It's a mixture of owned media and earned media. By the way, let me tell you something. I don't know if you heard about this. You can Google search this, but I've been seeing it on LinkedIn, and I'm very active on LinkedIn. And I got to see something very interesting, and it's actually true. Did you know that your chat history on ChatGPT can be seen on Google search? I don't know if you know that. And I even wrote it on my LinkedIn. I said, this is going to become the new Reddit. Like ChatGPT is going to become the new Reddit, where people are just going to be asking themselves questions, refining answers, getting better at it, connecting the dots. And the only way you can end up on that ChatGPT Google search result is because your settings in your ChatGPT dashboard has the share button on. So if you don't want to share your ideas or share your information, you can toggle it off. But by default, it's on. So imagine ChatGPT is giving you all these keywords and all these thresholds. Now, if you're looking for a topic and you've been writing about it and you've been putting it into the ChatGPT algorithm, because you've been saying it so much, it's learning about what you want to hear the more. That means it's not just owned media you're getting, it's now earned media. So it's now not just owned media, but earned media because you're earning backlinks from brand mentions, which is one. And then you're also earning mentions from your own website. So if I put a prompt and that prompt, and just like we hear it called contextual engineering, right? And you heard this too from Entre Motivator, shout out to you too. That tells you that your business should also be on these listings, because as a local business, you should be having somewhere that people can learn about your business, whether it's an FAQ page or an FAQ podcast or an FAQ something. There needs to be a frequently asked questions about what you do, even if it's not in full, but let there be information that if they can read an FAQ page off a blog, they can hear how you respond to questions, which will tell them at least how you actually respond to things. Because even if I talk to you for the first time as a friend or as a stranger, the way I'll respond to your questions is how you're going to determine whether this person is worth even having a conversation with, or even worth being a friend, or even worth continuing the conversation to begin with. So if you're doing something that's going to benefit the person and you're giving them information that they need, then eventually when they're sending emails and you're receiving emails, you feel like, wow, I'm actually receiving something valuable. And it doesn't feel like it's spammy, right? So it definitely has to play a big thing. Speaking of play, I sent an email. I think it was 1 or 2 emails, but we sent an email, and the email is about after this whole Coldplay thing happened. I sent an email and the email subject line said, here's your cold playlist of July episodes. And it was actually interesting to see the number of opens, because it hit the roof. People opened it, people checked it out, they checked in, and it was great, because people could get what I was trying to say, but doing it in a creative way that allows someone to still connect the dots and still understand what the context is, especially when it comes to understanding the value of what you're trying to say. So it has to really help as well. Justice has a question. Do you think ChatGPT will surpass Google search? If not, why you think so? Okay, great question. So ChatGPT is not going to pass Google search. Let me say this again. ChatGPT is not going to surpass Google. Why? Because ChatGPT is 1 out of 8 to 10 LLMs, large language models, right? So that means that they're operating within an AI space, right? Google's competitor is Bing, Microsoft Bing. Google's competitor is not ChatGPT. We can say they're competitors, but they're indirect competitors. Who are actually competitors is Google AI mode is in direct competition with ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is an open AI model and Google AI mode is a model from Google. So that's the competition that it's like comparing apples to apples. That's the competition that's happening within. So Google is not going anywhere. Google already has, even though they dropped 1, 2, 3%, they still have over 90% of the market share. They own 90% of the market share in terms of search. And we're at 8.2 billion people in the world. So not everybody in the world is using ChatGPT. We're privileged to have that. Everyone in the world is using it. Not almost everybody, but Google has been there for decades. ChatGPT just pulled up not too long ago. Yes, AI has been there from the beginning, but it's not as rampant or as active as it is right now. And not everyone uses ChatGPT. Yes, it's the most common. It's the most used, but it's not going to surpass Google. Because for you to even be on ChatGPT, you need to be connected to Google. So that's why I'm saying Google is not going anywhere. Just like the way email is not going anywhere, the way podcast is not going anywhere, the way Google is not going anywhere. That's the same way ChatGPT is not going anywhere, but ChatGPT is not going to surpass Google. If at anything, it's going to enhance Google, because Google is going to get more insights. And guess what? ChatGPT is actually scraping Google's data. I don't know if you know that. ChatGPT is now scraping Google's data. So that's why I'm saying it's like separating oil and water. You can't separate those. They're already separated, but you can't put them in a position where it feels like this is going to surpass the other, because they are parallel to each other, but they're simultaneously connected to each other too. So don't confuse it and say Google is not going anywhere, we don't need it, yet ChatGPT is looking for information from Google, which is coming from your source. So that was a great question, Justice. And let me know if that made sense so that we can, get that question answered in the chat. If you have any other questions, please put it in the chat, because that was a very great question as well. Emmanuel, thanks for being here. Glad to have you here, as well as Dr. Vivian. Thanks for being here too. And David, I see you as well. So if you want to have a local business that is going to thrive in 2025, then your goal as a business owner needs to be creating content that's going to start from understanding the value of what you're going to do as a business, and then create that business flow by actually increasing the revenue by understanding the people who are, and actually even getting to your email box or your inbox with their best email. So when you have a local business, realize this, that when people get your email, they're in the local area. And if they're in the local area, it means they're getting local search signals. And if they're getting local search signals, it means that you're strengthening the local rankings. So if you keep sending out emails that have URLs that say best restaurants near my city, and the name of the city is part of the URL, and that's what you're talking about because you sell food, or maybe the best belts or the best shoes or the best destinations or the best hotels, or whatever it is that you're selling or telling, you're putting that in form of a link that can be accessed through ChatGPT, that can be accessed through Google. Then eventually people will start reading your articles, and then locally you're getting those search signals. So let's say you have 100 people on your email list, and let's say 30% of them open it. That's great. That means 30 people open that email, and let's say out of that 30 people, 10% of them clicked. Now, that's about 3 people that clicked on it. Now, if those 3 people clicked on it and they stayed for a long time, it's because those 3 people actually learned something new locally. Those are 3 different signals, 3 different IP addresses, but from one email and one person or one brand. So now when you see your website saying, oh, you're getting real-time visitors, you're getting active visitors, those visitors are coming and going, but they're coming back because they know that they know where they're going to. Because they're looking for you, they found you relevant, and now they can actually connect with you long term. So as a local business, your goal is to use these platforms well. And if you have a local business and you have a local brick and mortar, please connect your website to Google Search Console, connect it to Google Analytics, and don't forget to connect it to Google Business Profile. If you have Microsoft Bing, even better too. connected to Bing Webmasters, Microsoft Bing Webmasters, connected to Microsoft Clarity, and also connected to Bing Places. These are the places that your website needs to be on, because when you start adding your links to these assets, you start creating the familiarity between your business and these other businesses, brands. Because when your brands are now putting these links, you might just think, oh yeah, it's just a link I'm pasting on my Facebook. It's just a link I'm putting on my Instagram. Those are links that are backlinking to your website. But you may think that it's not a backlink. It is. The only difference is that the backlink may not be as strong as an actual backlink from a feature. But either way, you're getting information that's really valuable for your business to grow. So if you have a business, use local QR codes, do a survey, or even do a survey and send them to a survey. Let them answer a question or two. Tell them, how did you find us, or what made you scan this code? Be creative. And then at the end of the day, find out what they really want. And then that way you can give them what they ask for. Then when you're able to give them what they ask for, segment your email list. Because segmenting your email list is going to be a great asset for you. That's how you're going to increase revenue. Because the more you're able to segment your email list, the more you're able to know what people actually want. Then when you send out an email that's going to tell them, hey, here's a coupon to use this for this amount, and you have this time to redeem it, that's because you're able to give them a countdown and actually show them that you have a priority. But some people lose interest really fast. Some people may like you today and not like you tomorrow. And that's totally fine, because that's their choice. But if you want to keep that relationship and that consistency in building and maintaining, sustaining, and healthy relationship, then you have to keep showing up. If I don't show up here all the time, if I don't show up listening on the podcast, if I don't show up on the We Don't Play show, if I don't show up at all, you'd be like, okay, something is not nice. Something's just not working. And you'd be like, okay, is he okay? Is something going on? And that's going to bring a lot of confusion and doubt. Yet, this has been something you've really created as a culture. So if you're creating a culture has to be adapted, and it has to be reactive. It has to be expansive. And that starts off with these things. So don't just connect your accounts and just say, oh yeah, we're not connected. Favor said connected, we're now connected. No, don't just connect it. Connect with the people you're connecting with. Right? If you're on Pinterest, connect with those people on Pinterest. Leave comments. If you're connecting on Instagram, connect on Instagram. If you're connecting on TikTok, connect on TikTok. If you're connecting on Google Business Profile, do that. There's a section called posts on Google Business Profile. You can actually create posts. If you have a product, you can actually list your products there. If you have social media, you can put it there. They used to have FAQs. I think they still do. You can add them there. These are platforms that you can actually add information. And then as a local business, do open houses, right? Do these kind of things that say, hey, come to the store. This is the day you can come and check out the store. If you even have an online store, do the same thing. Say, okay, put an hour aside of your day and just spend time on our website for an hour. It's kind of like saying the same thing, come to our store and spend an hour with us. They just have to drive there. But if you see that same concept and say, hey, spend 1 hour with us on our website, and here's what we have to offer you, that dwell time, that spending, that intentionality is important. Because if you ask them on an email, hey, how much time do you spend on our website? And you get to know exactly how much time they spend, then you can also know how to respect their time. If they say they spend 30 seconds on your website, give them a 30-second video. In fact, give them a 15-second video so they can watch it twice, so that they can actually understand what you're telling them. That way, you're able to really relate the conversation and send the message home. Because the more you keep reiterating what you're saying and it's not being emphatically connected to what they're actually thinking, then eventually it's not going to really sync, because now it sounds like a broken dashboard or a broken record. So you want to sound like someone that is actually connecting with the person that you're connecting with on a consistent basis. So increasing revenue is great, but email marketing is what you need. And if you look at this title today, it has a little difference. It kind of has a little flip, right? If you look at this flip, right, email marketing times revenue, increased revenue equals to ... That ... has something, because if you divide the answer that you get from that ... or from that ellipsis, it's going to be different from what you're going to be seeing on the other ends. So now and you can put in the chat, let me know, what do you think would create email marketing and increase revenue? What has to be in the middle to create email marketing and increase revenue? Can you put in the chat? Anyone? Justice, Julia, No Carbs, Jove, Austin, Dr. Vivian, put in the chat what this last ... at the end of the title, it has to fill, there's a word that has to fill it in. What do you think that word is? What is required between email marketing and increased revenue for it to happen? What's that mix? What's that missing ingredient? Do you know? Okay. This is the answer. Because I know you don't want to guess it, because it's kind of like open-ended. But if it made you think, the answer that you got, think about the answer again when I tell you what this answer is. When you think about email marketing and increased revenue, the number one thing that has to make sense to make revenue is context. Context is what, and it's like a double entendre too. Contacts and context, because I'm also into music too. I'm an artist, songwriter, so I can also play with words too. So context, I'm a drummer as well, so I'm thinking about the beats and the bars, the cadences. Context and contacts kind of sound the same, but not really. But if you think about the context of the message you're sending, that is what you're going to use within email marketing, because email marketing has to have subject lines. It has to have preview text. It has to have hyperlinks. It has to have messaging. It has to have polls, images, videos, referencing. It has to have codes. It has to have things that people can actually star or put in their radar for them to keep. So the more they're able to keep that, that's context. That's still SEO too. Welcome, Mark. That's also SEO too, because that SEO is what they're using as context to understand what you're saying. If that SEO context is not sending the right message, then that email will be misfired, because now you're missing the whole point. But the increased revenue comes from the context, because if the context is giving you information that is very important and you miss 1, 2, 3 steps out of 5, then you can't even achieve that step because it wasn't a full step. It was a half step. Kind of like with music. You know, there's a full note and there's a half note. So you have to really ask yourself, how are you trying to get across the point with the message that you're trying to convey if the message is not really giving you the answer you're requiring or looking for? So as a business, the goal is, how do you increase local business? It's by showing up and giving them the allowance to find you in an experiential way that you actually intentionally tell them what to do contextually, for them to also understand how to navigate stuff when they're showing up on your business or your brand or your poster. They're not just doing it. There have to be some things that really, really make sense, and it has to start off with how you relay the information. Justice says, and thank you, Dr. Vivian, thank you for the feedback on the great shares. Justice says, there are some marketers that have their signature at the very bottom and usually a picture of them. How important do you think that is? It's important. It's very important, because if you're giving people a reason to know more about you, it's different. Like if it's a podcast, even better, because they keep hearing you all the time. They keep listening to you. You tell them, oh, go listen to minute 120 or go to minute 5:15 and listen to this part of the conversation. I talked about this, and they actually do it because you actually give them a timestamp. It's great. Now in the signature, you have a picture. Now that picture, if that picture is clickable and that link takes you to your LinkedIn, that's even better, because now what you're doing is you're enhancing the experience. They see the picture on the email, they click through it, they go to your LinkedIn, they see the same image, they're like, same person. Okay, that's a real person. It's not a catfish. It's literally what you see is what you get. Then it makes it easier for the person to connect with you. Some people say, I want to be anonymous. I don't want to be seen. That's fine. That's totally fine. But it's not going to change. Let me say it this way. Having a picture or not a picture doesn't matter. Someone like Seth Godin, one of the top OGs of marketing, he doesn't put photos in his emails. If you get his emails, it's plain text. He doesn't even have signatures. He just writes away. So it's your branding. But at the end of the day, if your branding requires a face, if it requires an ambassador, if it requires that trust, if it requires that picture to put a face to the name, great, even better, because that way you're able to close the bridge, which is better. If I meet you in person and I've been talking to you all day and I actually meet you in person, you leave better than you came, because now you feel like you've actually connected with this person in real life, compared to just talking to them all day and then you're like, okay, we'll see another day if we see. But that connection has made it closer. So definitely, Justice, great question. You can use pictures, but use it at your discretion and use it if you need to. But that could also help you gain more access, because some people just would like your smile. They just like maybe the way you dress. They like your cheeks. They like, it could be anything. At the end of the day, you know what they want and you're able to give it to them how they want based on how you're able to interact with them on a daily basis. So that was a great question. We got room for one more question. We're going to wrap this up in 2 minutes. If you have any question, you're welcome, Justice. Appreciate that question. If you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me. My link is available in the show notes. It's available up here. You can go to playinc.online, playinc.online. You can go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com so you can listen to all the podcast episodes. And I'm excited that I told you all about this yesterday, and today's day one. We are now officially with Amazon. So we moved over. You're welcome, Dr. Vivian. We moved over from Spotify, and now we're in Amazon. And it's very exciting because I get to see a lot more details, a lot more analytics. It's much faster. Life is just getting better now, because some people don't know about these things. And now my podcast is compliant for advertisers. And I think I have about, I wouldn't say the number live, but we have a good number of advertisers already on the show that are already like within the pipeline. And I'm excited because now when you listen to episodes, you can listen to ads run, and we can choose the ads that we want you to listen to, which is even better, as opposed to just getting randomized ads like a YouTube feed. So it's quality control, it's ad control, and it's conversion control. So it's really exciting to see how these things are happening right before our eyes. So I hope you're enjoying the show, enjoying the podcast, enjoying the conversation, because I like to bring this to your attention. We've talked about local businesses. I'm going to bring back another topic about national businesses, regional businesses, and international businesses. So local businesses, I wanted to make sure you get this right today. Get these tools in place, understand how to send out emails, segment them, connect with them, create drips, create workflows, let people segment their way through your doorstep, and allow them to also learn more about you. In that way, those emails will help, because if you have a local business and you don't send out emails, it's going to be hard for someone to remember you, especially if you do the same thing other people do. But the way you want to be standing out is by being outstanding. And that starts off with showing up for the right reasons and showing up for yourself by giving them information that they need. And that's why I do things like this, to make sure that you can also get the same results too. So contextually, I hope this helps you and gives you more insights. And if this helped you, please put a 1 in the chat. In fact, don't even put a 1 in the chat. I don't know if you guys know this, but Clubhouse made a new update. And I want to try this out. I've actually, thank God I remembered. Let's see if this works. So we're going to try this out. This is actually going to be exciting. All right, perfect. So I'm going to preview it. All responses must be 5 characters. Okay, Clubhouse. Wow. You see, this is literally on the fly right now. So if you write a poll, your poll has to be within 5 characters. Okay, perfect. Publish. Here we go. Boom. So it actually, there we go. So Clubhouse has done polls now. So I would say click the link above or the poll. Let's actually try this out. Did this room help you? You can click on it to cast your vote. And then you can let me know what you think. I need to even know how this thing works. So, look at me voting. I vote. You see, this is new, guys. So I wrote, okay, so we see this green. Okay, so I chose the opposite one by accident, but I'm glad I did, because at least I'm able to test this out and see what actually happens, because this is my first time trying this poll. So it actually works. So thank you so much. I don't know if you guys can see who answered the poll in the chat, or on, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, or it's only me that can see who answered the poll. Can you guys see each other's colors, or it's just me? This is a live beta test. No. Okay, Danny says no. Okay, so this is interesting. First time trying this out. So that means you guys can't see who answered the polls, but so that means you can't even see anything. You can't see like a poll was done. We can see the percentage. Oh, you can only see the percentage at the top. Okay, interesting. Well done, Clubhouse. This is nice. Okay, this is my first time trying this, so thank you for this feedback. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited. I'm the one that did the opposite one, so I think it should be, I don't know, we just have to see how this goes. But definitely there were 3 votes, and yeah, we got some really good insights. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely a cool idea, Danny. I'll bring more like this. And actually what I'll do is I'll be doing this at the top of the room, and I'll also be creating a poll that's going to help me know what you guys are enjoying from the conversation. So this is my first time trying this, and I think it's definitely something that I'll definitely bring back for sure. So there's going to be more of stuff like this. So thank you for being here, Austin, Danny, Justice, No Carbs, Jof, and Dr. Vivian. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you all have a blessed August. It's a new month, and I hope you enjoy yourselves, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. I'll definitely be here again. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Now, that was an episode, right? Thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I'm so glad that you're here and you are sticking tight with us, especially to the very end. Now, this is season 11, and we're going to do it differently. And I want to make sure that every episode you listen to has something to give back, so that you can also learn more after you listen. Now, We Don't Play podcast show is where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. So if you're in any of those positions out of those 4, please make sure that you reach out to me. Send out an email through info@playinc.online. That's info@playinc.online. Or you could go to playinc.online, which is a website, www.playinc.online, playinc.online, and schedule a call so that we can get you on an SEO discovery call to talk about your business and help you with your marketing needs. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this helped you. See you in the next episode. God bless you. Jesus loves you. Bye.